I've realized there's a big gap in my closet, and that gap is extremely cute matching loungewear / pajama wear. Usually when it's time to relax, I find a very old, very large t-shirt and the loosest pants that I can find, and that gets the job done. But recently I've been feeling like I want to up my game. I want to look cute, I want to look chic, I want to look together, I want to look vintage. And it's time for me to make my dreams come true. So today I'm going to be making loungewear set. A cute loungewear set. The cutest I've ever had loungewear set. We'll see. In terms of my vision for the project, I have acquired a pant pattern that I'm really excited about. I'm not entirely sold on what the top will be. So we're gonna start with the pants. I've purchased the Harper pant pattern by Ready to Sew, and this pant pattern has 4 pattern pieces. This makes my heart so happy. The pants are meant to have a little bit of a petticoat inspiration. They've got some little pin tucks in the bottom. They're very cute and flouncy and fun. So I thought this lightweight cotton with these really sweet little ditzy florals on it would be perfect. So I bought 7 meters of this to get me through the pants and then whatever my top vision would become. I also bought this cornflower blue cotton in the thought that I might use it as a little bit of a trim, as a ruffle, as a binding. I'm not exactly sure, but I just felt like they were super friendly. Yeah, that's the pants. In terms of the bodice inspiration, I'm thinking sleeveless. I'm thinking it needs to have some sort of yoke situation. I'm loving like a circular yoke with ruffles or some sort of details going on up here. I also think I want buttons down the front, a little bit of an A-line or voluminous silhouette, and definitely some sort of trim or ruffle detail around. It should be a little bit frivolous and fun. Like ideally it works with these pants, but both pieces can be worn outside of the house. That would be ideal for me. Full disclosure, I did buy a vintage pattern to help me with the bodice, but it is a pattern where you get these really small shapes and then you get these weird little rulers and you have to sort of upscale these shapes to be your own size. So it's a bit unusual to me. When I saw that pattern, I thought, how hard can it be? But now that I've printed it out and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking maybe it might be easier to self-draft something. We will see. But for now, I'm gonna get started on the pants. And before I cut into my fabric, I'm so thankful to announce the sponsor of today's video, which is Kittle. Guys, I'm gonna level with you. I get really easily overwhelmed when I'm dealing with overly complicated graphic design softwares. I just have no idea where to begin in terms of taking my ideas and making them look actually good in a graphic design world. It's always intimidated me to the point of I'm not even gonna deal with that. However, recently I've learned about an amazing graphic design software called Kittle, and it's actually changed the game for me. If you relate to any of those feelings of overwhelm, you might be interested in learning about Kittle as well. Now, Kittle is a browser-based design platform that combines pro-level tools like advanced text effects, vector editing, pen tool, and shape builder with an intuitive workflow and ready-to-use templates, so you can create digital and print-ready designs in minutes, either solo or collaborating with others. With Kittle, so much is possible. It's really quite amazing. The platform has been designed in a simple and functional and intuitive to use way so that even if you're an absolute beginner designer or an expert graphic designer, you will find the platform easy to navigate and it sets you up to have an amazing graphic design win. And I'm speaking from experience because I'm just coming off a really cool graphic design project on Kittle. Don't mean to toot my own horn, but I'll show it to you in a second. I'm actually really excited about it. Let me tell you a little bit more about Kittle. With Kittle, you can create designs for print, digital, merch, or marketing in one unified workspace with vector, pixel, and layout tools in one place. You can also access thousands of designer-crafted templates, over 1,200 fonts, 70,000 elements, mock-ups, textures, and high-resolution stock images. Of course, you can export in the right formats and DPI for print, PRD platforms, or online use. You can also collaborate in real time with your team or clients, share feedback, and streamline approvals. And of course, you can sell your creations worry-free with clear commercial licensing. They kind of got it all going on, right? This means that Kittle is an approachable and reliable software that can absolutely help you take your ideas and bring them to life in no time. Whether you want to create business cards, t-shirt designs, stickers, posters, product mock-ups, or posts for social media, Kittl is your all-in-one design platform that will help you get the job done. And speaking from experience, there's a really fast learning curve, so even if you're a beginner, you can absolutely get super professional results. And speaking of professional results, I recently just finished a project on Kittl that I'm so excited to show you guys. I have created these amazing little vintage inspired name tags that I can print out on my printer and sew into my projects for personal use. I'm pretty sure you guys will enjoy making something similar if you're sewing your own stuff, because this is super cute and you can just use your regular at-home printer and print your fabric through there. I'll show you in a second. The quick recap is that I used a neck tag template and then I adjusted the way that I wanted the fonts. I used some vintage templates and sort of played around. I also went in and used a horse illustration, which is really cool, and I just turned the opacity down so it wasn't too bold. Aside from there being so many amazing fonts, I really like the transformation tool, which allows you to manipulate the way that the text is. You can make it distorted or in a circle or an angle or a wave. It's really cool. I played around with it a lot. I also used the pen tool to create this little border, and I just had so much fun. I kind of can't believe that it looks as good as it does. Isn't that just so cute, guys? I'm actually obsessed. If you'd like to make one of your own personalized name badges, they're super easy to do on Kittl. All you have to do is jump onto Kittl, have a little go experimenting and designing your own name tag. Once you're finished and you're excited about your design, use a piece of ironed cotton and tape it to a piece of A4 paper. Run it through your printer as a regular piece of paper and it will print your design onto the cotton. Some printers may struggle more than others. Just have a go, be patient and experiment. Mine came out perfectly on the first go, which was really exciting. Once it's printed beautifully, you can use pinking shears to cut it out so it doesn't fray too much, and just hit it with an iron a few times so that the steam and the heat can lock in the ink. And there you have a really cute, personalized, little vintage style name badge. I'm obsessed. I'm gonna make so many of those. So many. If you would like to sign up, please be sure to use the link in the description box of this video here, because you will get 25% off all Kittl plans. Thank you so much to Kittl for sponsoring this video, and let's get straight back into the sewing. This is kind of embarrassing to admit, but when I'm picking out fabric for projects, I'll always just imagine myself in the most random predicaments. Like for this project, I was sort of thinking, okay, what would it look like if I had just woken up on a Greek island? Would this look cool or would that? It's like, bro, chill. You're literally just wearing it in your literal house. Has Instagram broken my brain? Maybe it has. Whatever, I guess, do you know what? At the end of the day, the girls are gonna love it, whether it's on Instagram or whether they see it on the street. Okay, I'm talking too much now. I actually love ironing fabric. And if you struggle to iron your fabric, just pretend that a tiny little Carly pops up on your shoulder every single time you need to iron your fabric, and she goes, "You can do it, you can iron that." Loving that the single pant pattern piece fits effortlessly on this fabric. I'm really hoping and believing these are gonna be like my new favorite pants. I've got good vibes. Pockets and ties. That was literally the quickest prep process of my whole entire life. I think cutting out the pattern pieces took me 10 minutes, max. My favorite detail about these pants are these 5 pin tucks at the bottom of the pant. I think they're so cute. I'm just cutting where each of these lines are so that I can accurately mark them on my fabric, or at least do my best to accurately mark them. Gee. Cute. I think one of the go-to tools for a job like this is just a friction erasable marker. It's not a sewing supply tool, it's literally something that you buy at the stationery store. I just really appreciate how accurate and fine the line is. With a pin tuck, you're gonna have 3 lines, the outside lines and then the center line, and that center line is the fold line. So what I'm gonna do is fold it wrong sides together. The fold line is gonna be right in the middle of that crease, right there. and I'm going to sew along the outside marking. And essentially, as long as I keep that center line on the fold, that means my two outer markings should be sitting perfectly on top of each other, creating a really nice even pleat or tuck or whatever you want to call it. Pin tuck. So now when I fold my fabric out, I'll have this little flap, and I'll keep building up these pin tucks, and right at the end of the process, I'm going to press them all in one direction. It'll look beautiful. I'm not going to press this now because all of my markings are heat erasable, so that will be a final step. Oh my goodness, tiny little baby pin tuck. You are so small, you are so small. These are my pin tucks unpressed, and these are my pin tucks pressed. Voila. Now I will repeat the pin tuck process on the other pant leg. All pin tucks are complete. Time for pockets. Okay, I think how this pocket works is they want me to fold the top of the pocket, right sides together, down by 2 centimeters. So that's 1 centimeter. And now I'm gonna sew that fold down at a 1 centimeter seam allowance. And I'm gonna trim the corners and then fold that so that it's right sides out. I didn't really like the pocket construction, so I did my own. It's kind of random and I've never done this before. I don't know why I'm doing it like this, but I just am. I've just made a little rectangle facing for the top portion of the pocket. I don't even know why I did this. This is just like fully so random, but whatever. This goes right sides together. I just felt like there wasn't enough security or something with the pocket. Like it wasn't, I don't know, it just wasn't giving. I'm not gonna put anything in this pocket, but whatever. I still want it to be nice. Okay, facing is on. Now I'm gonna understitch the seam allowance to the facing side. So you see I've got the seam allowance. Basically understitching is pressing the seam allowance to the wrong side or whatever, the facing side, the side that's gonna go on the inside of the garment. And then you stitch as close as possible to that stitching, just on the facing side or the lining side. It's kind of magical. I don't really know how exactly it works, but when you do understitching, it will just naturally pull the fabric over a little bit so that the lining always stays on the inside. The lining will not really want to flip out to the other side of the fabric now. It just sits beautifully flat, but not flat enough. We must press. And then what I did was I tucked the seam allowance under, because in the other pocket, it was just like a raw edge. I just didn't really like that. So I just tucked it under by about 1/2 centimeter. And then I press all of the other sides of the, I press these in by a lot actually. I guess I'm pressing them in by like a 1/2 inch. Oops. No, it's so weird when you're sewing. Sometimes you're working in centimeters and then for no reason at all, inches. But the sewists get it. It's just like that. And then, voila, the top portion goes down. And that's quite pretty, isn't it? Oh, and now let's see. Oh, wow, they're perfectly equal. Don't you love it when things work out? That's a very even pocket, that is. Now I'm just trying to decide whether I should add ruffles to these, but I'm feeling pro ruffle. They're gonna go there. And I'm thinking pocket gets ruffle. Boom, 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 ruffle. What do you think, Lange?
I like it. Ruffle.
You're just saying that because I said I wanted a ruffle.
I'm pro ruffle all
Pro
the time
ruffle.
anyway, so.
Okay, cool. Oh, I think I'll top stitch these down.
And I'm pro top stitching.
Hopefully this is catching the facing because I can't really see where the fabric is. Oh yes, it worked. Fabulous. I kind of messed this one up. I'm gonna redo it, but basically fabulous. I'm thinking a cheeky little 2-inch strip is gonna be acceptable. Oh my goodness, this rotary cardamom changed my life. 2.5. I don't want it to be too big. I think 2.5. Beautiful. I already did one pocket just to practice, and the way that I enjoyed doing it was basting all of the ruffles in place and just doing a little bit of a whip stitch at the top just to secure the edges. See? Really nice and neat. And what I've been doing is using the seam allowance of the pocket as a little guide to show me where to place the ruffle. Because I found that whenever I machine stitch a ruffle like this onto something, it tends to get a little bit wonky. Also, I pressed my ruffle first, just to make it easier to work with. Could I just machine stitch this? Yes. Should I just machine stitch this? Also, yes. Will I machine stitch this? No, I don't want to. I want to hand stitch it. I don't know why. Do not come for me in the comments section. Basting the ruffles down by hand just means that I get to control where the ruffles are sitting, making sure that they're nice and even. And I also will get a really nice clean top stitch from the top because I won't be worried about catching the ruffle. The ruffle's already sorted. Okay, pocket placement. Now that is not easy to see. See if you can see the spots. That's crazy, right? One there. There's one here. Can't for the life of me find the third one. There. Oh my goodness. The ruffles do add, so I'm not exactly sure where the proper placement is now, but I'm just gonna do my best. Hopefully they don't look weird. Gorgeous. Good morning. It's a few days later. I had a full day off and I'm feeling rejuvenated and excited to talk you through how much I love bound buttonholes. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I read this. Not the whole book, but I read the sections on bound buttonholes, and because there are so many different kinds, my brain is just alight with sewing inspiration. I can't wait to learn them all, but I found my favorite for this project, so I'm going to show you how to do it because it is seriously amazing. Now you might be like, Carly, why are you getting so excited about a buttonhole fixture? It's just, guys, it's because I hate sewing buttonholes on my domestic machine. It's something I want to avoid at all costs. I don't know why, it's just so much effort. So I will take 5 times longer doing a different technique that's more enjoyable because more enjoyable. And this is my next newest favorite thing. You can barely see that, right guys? That is the buttonhole. It's so nice. I kid you not, each of these buttonholes took me like 25 minutes, but I don't care. Are you guys seeing this? Absolute beauty. So it's basted shut at the moment. Let me just remove them so that you can see, so that I can pitch this to you guys. You'll find buttonholes like this on many couture garments. I would say it's a very high quality finish, but look at that. Are you even serious? It is beautiful. No fraying in sight. No stitches in sight. The underside looks like this, but this will be covered by the waistband, so it'll be fine. And often a buttonhole section will be covered. Not always, but are y'all getting this? Are you excited about this, or is it just me? I'm excited. It's so beautiful. I was saying to Elijah, the problem with my new videos is that I'm taking so much time to get stuck into things like this. Like literally, I spent hours practicing these the other night and I was having a mental breakdown because I was like, I'm making the most simple pajama bottoms and this has already taken me so long. It's just the more I sew, the more I love sewing, and the more I love sewing, the longer I want to take sewing, and the more I want my garments to be beautiful, and it all just takes so much more time. It's not about the speed, it's about the quality. Put your hands in the air if you liked bound buttonholes. Now put your hands down. Put your hands in the air if you like perfectly positioned ruffles on your pockets. Now put your hands down. Okay, let me show you how to do the bound buttonholes. I'm gonna knuckle in now. So here are the 2 methods that I tried, the patch method and the simplified patch method. I actually found the patch method to be the most effective and I just liked the look of it a little bit more, but the simplified patch method is a little bit easier if you're interested in easiness. But look at this. You can do a 1-piece folded method, a 1-piece tucked method, corded bound buttonholes, 2-piece piped method, inseam method, false buttonholes for real and fake leathers, strip method for real and fake leathers, taped method. Now we have worked buttonholes.
Gronkle, zipple back, the skrill.
Anyway, I'm going to show you how to do the patch method because it's my favorite. Firstly, I'm going to mark where the buttonhole must be placed. Now these are very small buttonholes, in my opinion. They feel small because, well, I don't know. That was really stupid information for you. Anyway, I marked it, so that's all that matters. Now, the book says we need a patch of fabric, and they say cut a patch of fabric 2 inches wide and 1 inch longer than the buttonhole. Basically, just a little square. And in my experience, it's okay if you have excess because you're going to trim that away later. It's better that you have excess, I would say. So something like that. perfect. So to make this easier for myself, I drew the markings really, really long, and I'll show you why in a second. Firstly, I'm just gonna fold this square in half and press, and that gives me a nice, clean center marking. Wait for it to cool down. And now I'm gonna put my square on top of the center line of the buttonhole. And that's why I drew it really long, so that I would be able to see that information. Now I'm going to redraw that line on top. So this is right sides together. And now I'm just gonna base this square down by hand, just to keep everything totally secure while I'm working. And it's so much nicer than having it pinned down, trust me. Now I'm gonna double down and re-add the vertical lines, which shows me how long I want the buttonhole to be. And then on either side of the center line, I'm gonna add a line at 1/8 of an inch, roughly there. I like having my lines all exaggerated so I can see exactly what I'm working with. Now I'm going to stitch using a kind of small stitch length, and I'm going to go all the way around this rectangle that I've drawn. They say the trick to a perfect rectangle is counting how many stitches you go down and making sure that on both short edges it's the same amount of stitches. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then again, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they say overlap your stitches by a few. So I'll just go to roughly there. Now I'm going to open up the buttonhole. I find it helpful to just do a little prick with my seam ripper, just to give me a starting place. And then I've been enjoying just snipping straight into the corners. Now I'm going to remove the basting stitches and just give it a quick press. It's a little fiddly, but now I'm going to try and push this little patch to the wrong side of the fabric. And the book says to help square this out, you can pull on the edges of the patch. The book also says to roll the edges of the seam with your fingers so that the seam is exactly in the center of the fold. You don't want it to be rolling out to the front of the fabric. It just doesn't look as pretty. It's a little fiddly, but it's fine. Now we need to form the lips. So what I like to do is mark a center line again with my heat erasable marker. And then essentially what's going to happen is you're going to fold the fabric and meet that fold. It's kind of like a little pin tuck. It's going to meet at that center mark, just like that. And now that I've formed one fold, all I need to do is do the next one, bringing the fabric up so that it meets perfectly in the center. It's at this stage that the book says to turn your work to the right side and just make sure that everything's sitting really nice and neat, and mine looks great. So that's good news. Now what I'm gonna do is do a line of basting stitches through the center of each of the folds, or the lips as they're called in the book. And then I'm gonna do a diagonal basting stitch to stitch the buttonhole closed. And that will remain closed until basically the very end of the garment construction. I'm not exactly sure why, but I'm gonna do it because they said so. There's usually a good reason in my experience. So this here is gonna be my little diagonal basting stitch. I think it's probably almost impossible for you to see on camera, so just take my word for it, I guess. Now this is one of the final steps of the buttonhole making process. You're gonna have your buttonhole from the right side up, and I'm not sure if you can see, but there's a little triangle here. I'm gonna sew that triangle down to this little fold section that we've created. And these are the stitches that actually secure the bound buttonhole. So you do the two short edges first, and now the long edges. Hopefully you can see again, there's once again a little tab of fabric here, and that's what we want to catch. It's kind of mysterious how this all works to me, but it does. So I just do as they say. Once all of that is said and done, you can trim the excess fabric so it looks really nice. And there you have it. Bound buttonhole. It's almost invisible. It's so hard to see, and I kind of love it for that. Very, very nice and neat and clean finish. And what I loved about this is that the pattern was asking me to do a buttonhole on one layer of fabric, which I was not really very comfortable doing. So this bound buttonhole has made a nice and secure opening on one layer of fabric, but because you add the patch, it's two. And it just feels like a really nice, high quality finish. I'm really excited about it, so hopefully you enjoyed that as much as I did. I'm gonna do my other 2 buttonholes and then meet you back here when it's time to construct these pants properly. All bound buttonholes are complete. Time to assemble. So here's the deal. The seam allowance is 1 centimeter, and if it were 1/2 inch, I would definitely do French seams because it's really easy in my brain. It's 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch, and it's beautiful every single time. But with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, I think what I want to do is a Hong Kong seam finish. So what I need for that are strips of fabric cut on the bias. It doesn't need to be bias tape. It doesn't need to be folded in. It just needs to be strips of fabric. It's really nice and easy and a great finish. It's a little different to using bias tape as a sandwich finish. It's my new obsession. Yes, I could overlock these seams, but I don't want to. I don't know what it is. My overlocker is playing up right now, and also I don't like it. So it's both of those things at play. Sorry. Sorry, overlocker.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Guys, my rotary cutter is my new best friend, and I'm so happy. If you didn't know, every month I make one exclusive sewing vlog for my Patreon, and in last month's vlog I made a pair of jeans where all of the inside seams were finished by the Hong Kong seam finish, and it was actually one of the most satisfying and beautiful experiments I've done so far. I wasn't sure if it would work. I thought it might be a bit bulky, but they're just beautiful. It's just like no notes gorgeous. So yeah. I'm gonna stop raving and start making, how about that? If you want to watch my exclusive sewing vlogs though, you can sign up to my Patreon, which is linked in the description of this video, if you want. There's no pressure, but it's a really sweet space. Okay, all right, I've got my bias strip and I've got my unfinished seam. Guys, this is so easy. What you're gonna do is do right side to wrong side first up. Then I sew these 2 pieces together at 1/4 inch seam allowance. Then I'm just going to press the binding away from the seam, really just digging my iron in there to make sure that it's just laying as flat as it can. And then the only other step is just folding over this portion of fabric to the other side of the seam allowance. You can pin, you can press. Sometimes I'll just do this on the machine without pinning or pressing, but it's probably advisable to pin and press for best results. So this here is going to be the top side, and we're going to stitch in the ditch to secure the underside of the bias tape. Now this is left raw. It shouldn't fray much because it's cut on the bias, but I think I might just top stitch this down anyway to make it extra clean. But it's not a problem. It's totally fine just left like this. Now this is what I would call very satisfying. Stitching in the ditch. If you can't see exactly, the needle is sitting right in the crevice where the binding seam is and then the pant fabric is. I need to go pretty slow with this stitch. Beautiful. So here you can see what it looks like on the wrong side. That stitch is catching the bias tape really nicely. I will trim this portion down as fine as I can next to that stitching line. And this is the right side of the fabric. You can see it is so beautiful and clean. The stitching is right in the ditch there or thereabouts, as clean as I could get it. And it's such a nice alternative to overlocking. Now, sew the inseam. I've got a really nice long strip of bias tape ribbon, and I will bind the inner leg seam as well. Also, I did end up top stitching that binding down. Just looks a little bit nicer and cleaner. And why not? Okay, the pants look like pants, which is great. Now I just have to do the waistband and the hem. The waistband and hem also have the little casing for the ties to go through. The instructions say to overlock these edges and then fold them over once, which I don't love. So I think I'll just do a binding on all of those edges so that when I fold it over once, it's still really pretty and finished. That's my concept. And when I say binding, I just mean Hong Kong seam finish. I'm gonna do the same, more of the same. More of the same. All right, I've pinned down the hems and the waistband to where it's meant to be, and now I have to do these little top stitch sections to create the casings. I think I might mark them because they're specific. I think I might do that. hopefully this works. I'm just stitching, following the markings. And I assume I'm gonna thread my tie-in through the buttonhole. Yeah, I think so. I'm about to do the waistband, and I've never encountered something like this before. This is the waist, it's not a waistband, it's the waist tie. It comes in 2 sections. You fold in the edges, and then you fold it in half. And then I think the elastic is meant to measure half of your waist measurement, and then you just sort of take it, bias tape tie thing, and zigzag stitch it. And then you have this going around the back, and then you do the same on the other end of this. I guess it makes sense. It's a little weird though. I'm feeling like, should I have just added waistband elastic through the whole waistband? I usually like that, but you know, it's nice to try new things, question mark. I'm gonna go 36 centimeters of elastic. Elastic girl, darling. 36 centimeters. Elastic girl. 36 centimeters. Oh, this is just too many things. 36. All right. Okay. I'm not scared. I'm never scared of doing something that I don't know how to do. They say to zigzag stitch this. They say overlap it by 2 centimeters. That looks roughly it. Little do they know how much I do not like getting my other machine out, so I'm just going to blitz it with a straight stitch. I don't see why that would be a problem. Oh, and then I may as well, yes, and then I'll do it on the other side. I think I need to do it on the other side. In theory then, that was crazy. In theory, blah, 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 then we just finish this normal style. I'm skeptical. Okay, rinse and repeat, I guess. Okay. I must admit, I did not like sewing these buttonholes in horizontally. I really strongly felt like they should be vertical, but I guess if they were vertical, they probably wouldn't fit in this casing so well. I don't know, it just sat wrong with me. But we're here, and this is the reality. I'm so excited about these pants, guys. Every single finish on them, absolutely premium. Could anyone but me tell? Probably not. It's fine. It's fine. The wearer enjoyment is going to be through the roof. That's all that matters to me, because I'm the wearer. All right, I just finished the Harper pants as the sun is setting, and I'm obsessed. Spoiler alert, I think they're really cute. Some details I love about the pattern. The pin tucks are my top favorite thing about this pattern. They add the perfect amount of structure and rigidity to the bottom part of the pants, and when you pull the ties at the ankle, the pin tucks just sort of give you this really cute little balloony volume at the bottom of the pant. I just love it. It's very cute. It also just looks cute, but all around, I'm obsessed. One thought, I think the ankle tie pattern piece is far too short. I looked at it, I tried to make sure I didn't miss that it was cut and fold or something, but I think it should be. I think it should be double the length. Because as it stands right now, it's really hard to show you. Whoa! Oh my gosh! As it stands, use your imagination. There's like this much extra tie after you knot it. And I still need to finish that. And I would prefer to have a really cute little bow there. So I probably will just make the ties again, make them longer. So they'll be romantic and cute. I'm almost opposed to having a tie for the ankle because it was kind of hard to get them on and off when the ankle was cinched, but whatever. Like maybe the elastic tie situation is good for the bottom section as well. I might do that actually. Kind of good. If you want to make this pattern, I don't mean to toot my own horn. I would highly recommend binding all of the seams or doing French seams if you don't want to do that. I would highly recommend binding the waistband and the hemline as well so that when you tuck it under, it's all neat and finished. And I would absolutely advise, and I think this is unskippable, doing the bound buttonhole. I just don't think it would be very wise to do a buttonhole on one single piece of fabric. You could do some tricks like put another piece of fabric there, whatever, but I really do think the bound buttonhole is kind of lovely for these pants, and I would highly recommend. I'm super happy with mine. There's only 6 of them, and if you've never done it before, it's really easy, and you'll learn something new. So yeah, I would say spend a few extra hours and treat yourself to some luxury finishes if you're going to make these. Other than that, that's all of my thoughts. Very comfortable, very cute. I think these will be in high rotation over the summer months because they're very light, breezy, cool, airy, and fun. And guys, I forgot to tell you, but this is just the beginning. I spent way too much time making these pants and playing around with all of these luxury finishes. I ran out of time to make the top. I will need to do the top in the next video. I've got a big vision that's sort of brewing for the top. I haven't quite figured it out. It's gonna take some time. So I really do apologize for splitting my project into 2 videos, but I need to. So I will see you in the next video to complete the whimsical pajama top that will accompany these pants, and hopefully it satisfies all cravings of whimsy and wonder and vintage nightwear vibes. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe. If you want more videos from me, I've got heaps more on YouTube, and I've got some more also on Patreon. So that's that. Let me know how you're going, how are your projects going, how is your life going, what are you baking at the moment, what are you knitting, crocheting, sewing, exercising, what's creatively fulfilling in your life. Leave me a little story because it's lovely to know how you are going. That's all from me. I'm going to show you these pants right now. I'll see you guys in the next video, and we will complete this whimsical set. Love you, bye! What? Can you zoom in on the cat? I did a catch stitch, like a darker thread so you could actually see it, because it was a lot of work. Hopefully the ink doesn't run, but it shouldn't, it should be fine. People always ask if it wears well because I printed it out. I think it wears pretty well. Oh, my song ran out. You see how the pin tucks give that, like, it just gives it that nice shape at the bottom, whereas I think it wouldn't have so much structure because the fabric is really light. There, you know. What about if it's like this? Show everybody my splits. I don't think I've got the energy actually. It's like it's someone's birthday, but I'm just vibing. It's because of these pants. And then the vibes are gonna be like, just through the roof. No, I'm gonna go to sleep first.
all night and your mom comes in?
Nothing under my pillow. Definitely not my iPod Nano with 4 episodes of iCarly downloaded. It's definitely... It couldn't be my 3 episodes of iCarly that cost me $2.99 on iTunes, and then my 2 episodes of Get Smart that I watched like 1 million times, because that's all of the space that an iPod Nano would even have had. This song is really good I'm listening to. Ooh. I'll see you in the morning, legends. You guys want to see? Do you want to see? Oh. Okay, bye bye everyone.